I can still smell the sour berry stench soaking into my hair when my mother accidentally tipped the entire punch bowl onto my white dress. The backyard went dead silent. My sister's phone stayed high, recording every red drop spreading like a stain of shame, then her laugh. She's a mess. I'd swallowed humiliation for years to keep family peace. That night, I began planning my revenge clean, legal, and leaving no room for retreat. My name is Ava Barrett, and I'm 33 years old. I thought I'd outgrown the need for my mother's approval, but here I was, standing in my parents' backyard in Boulder Springs, wearing the white sundress she'd specifically requested for the annual summer family gathering. The July sun blazed overhead at 3:15 p.m., making the buffet table shimmer like a mirage. White tablecloths, mason jar centerpieces, string lights waiting for dusk, Elaine Barrett's Pinterest-perfect vision of family harmony. Maya, sweetie, stay where Grandma can see you. I called to my 9-year-old daughter, who was chasing bubbles near the garden fence. This was why I came. Not for me, but so Maya could have those magical childhood memories of family gatherings I'd convinced myself were worth preserving. My sister Brielle had her phone mounted on a tripod near the punch bowl, recording everything for her lifestyle vlog. At 31, she'd built a following by turning our family into content. "Getting some B-roll of the spread," she announced to no one in particular, panning across the potato salad and deviled eggs that had been sitting in the heat for over 2 hours. "Ava, could you move a little to the left? You're blocking the shot," Brielle said without looking up from her screen. I stepped aside, catching my father Victor's eye. He offered me a tired smile from his lawn chair, beer in hand, already checking out of whatever performance my mother was orchestrating today. "Everyone, gather round," Elaine commanded, her voice cutting through the small talk of aunts and cousins. "Time for the family toast." We assembled like trained actors hitting our marks. Mark, Brielle's husband, helped steady the tripod while Brielle adjusted her ring light. Yes, she'd brought a ring light to a family barbecue. I stood between Uncle Ted and Cousin Patricia. Maya pressed against my leg, sensing the undercurrent of tension that always hummed beneath these gatherings. Elaine raised her glass of punch, her smile camera ready. To family, to summer, and to making memories that last forever. We all lifted our glasses. I saw it happen in slow motion, Elaine's heel catching on absolutely nothing, her body lurching forward with theatrical precision. The entire crystal punch bowl tipped, crashed, and erupted. 3 gallons of berry punch thick, sticky, staining cascaded over my head, down my dress, pooling in my shoes. The silence lasted exactly 2 seconds. Then Brielle's laugh cut through it like a knife. "Oh my God, she's a mess." Her phone never wavered, capturing every mortifying second. The aunts tittered nervously. Someone Cousin Patricia muttered about getting towels, but nobody moved. They all just stood there, watching me drip. "Oh, Ava, I'm so sorry." Elaine's voice dripped with false concern. "These heels, she gestured helplessly, but her eyes were bright with satisfaction. The smell hit me, then fermented berries, sugar turning sour in the heat, the acidic tang of humiliation. My hair hung in sticky ropes. The white dress had turned into a Jackson Pollock painting of rage. "Mommy." Maya's small voice broke through my frozen state. "It's okay, baby," I managed, though my voice came out strangled. "Just an accident." "Great content, though," Brielle chirped, already reviewing the footage. "The algorithm loves authentic family moments." I walked toward the house, each step squelching. In the hallway mirror, I saw myself mascara running in black rivers, hair matted with purple-red syrup, dress clinging and stained beyond salvation. Behind my reflection, I caught Maya in the doorway, her eyes wide and confused. "Why did Grandma do that?" she whispered. The question hung between us, because even a 9-year-old could tell that wasn't an accident. In the bathroom, I peeled off the ruined dress and saw the bruise already forming on my shoulder where the bowl's edge had struck. My hands shook as I turned on the shower. Through the window, I could hear them laughing in the yard, Brielle's voice carrying, "Did you see her face, priceless?" This wasn't the first time. Memories flooded back red wine accidentally spilled on my graduation dress. The mix-up that left me out of the family reunion photo. The birthday cake that somehow ended up in my lap instead of on the table. Always accidents. Always my fault for being too sensitive when I got upset. But this time was different. This time, my daughter had seen it. This time, they'd recorded it for content. I turned off the shower and made a decision. No more swallowing it down. No more keeping the peace. They wanted content, I'd give them something worth recording. The pattern started when I was 7. Brielle was 5, adorable with her blonde ringlets, while I had inherited Dad's unremarkable brown hair. The Christmas pageant incident should have been my first warning. Mom had forgotten to wash my angel costume, so I stood on stage in a stained bedsheet while Brielle sparkled in professional-grade wings and a halo that caught every light. Ava's just not a spotlight person, Elaine would tell her friends, rewriting history with each retelling. She prefers to support her sister. By high school, the accidents had become an art form. The miscommunication about prom dress shopping that left me scrambling for a clearance gown. The college recommendation letter that got lost in the mail. The wedding invitation typo that listed the wrong time, ensuring I arrived after the ceremony had started, disheveled and apologetic while Brielle played the gracious sister who held everything up, waiting for me. Victor never intervened. He'd perfected the art of strategic absence urgent work calls during confrontations, newspaper shields at breakfast, sudden need for hardware store runs whenever tension rose. His silence was complicity dressed as peacekeeping. After my divorce 3 years ago, the dynamic shifted into overdrive. Suddenly, I wasn't just the awkward older daughter anymore. I was the family failure. Never mind that catching Derek with his assistant was hardly my fault. Never mind that I'd rebuilt my life, secured a stable position as a loan processor at Harbor Ridge Credit Cooperative, and raised Maya with more love than I'd ever received. The Family Sunshine group chat became their new weapon. Every notification brought fresh humiliation. Elaine at 10:30 a.m. Poor Ava, working those long hours. Some mothers can balance everything, but we all have different capabilities. Brielle at noon. Offering to babysit Maya whenever no it's hard being a single mom with no help. The subtext was clear to everyone. Even Aunt Patricia had privately messaged me once. "You okay, sweetie, they're being rather harsh." But I'd swallowed it all. For Maya. For the illusion of family. For the hope that somehow, if I was good enough, quiet enough, accommodating enough, they'd finally see me as worthy of basic respect. My phone buzzed. Another Family Sunshine notification. I opened it to find Brielle had already uploaded the punch bowl video. The caption read, "When your sister can't handle her punch." Family fun, jock messy ava, jock content gold. 17 reactions. 12 comments. All from family members who'd stood there watching me drip. My work phone rang at 8:45 p.m. It was Mark, Brielle's husband. "Ava, can we talk? If this is about me overreacting, it's not. God, I can't keep watching this. What they did today, what they've been planning." Planning. His silence stretched so long I thought he'd hung up. Then, "Check your personal email. I sent you something. And Ava, I'm sorry. I should have spoken up sooner." The email contained 3 screenshots from Brielle's phone. My stomach turned to ice as I read Brielle to Elaine. Friday at 2:15 p.m. "Mom, we need something big for Sunday's vlog. Engagement is down." Elaine, "Leave it to me. Ava's wearing white." Brielle, "Perfect. I'll set up multiple angles." Elaine, "When I raise the toast, be ready. I'll make sure the bowl goes exactly where we need it." Brielle, "You're the best. This will definitely go viral." The 3rd screenshot was from their private chat yesterday. Brielle, "Tested the punch? Stains everything. Add more berries." Elaine, "Already done." That dress will be ruined. I read them 3 times, my mind struggling to process the premeditation. This wasn't just cruelty, it was choreographed abuse for content. Maya appeared in my bedroom doorway, already in her pajamas. Mom, why does Grandma not like you? The question I'd been avoiding for years stood between us in pink unicorn pajamas, demanding truth. I don't know, baby, I said honestly. Sometimes families are complicated. But they hurt you on purpose. That's not complicated. That's just mean. From the mouths of babes. You're right, I admitted. It is mean, and I'm done accepting it. Good, she said firmly. You deserve better. Mom, we both do. After she went to bed, I sat at my laptop and started a document, evidence file, Barrett family. I had 26 years of incidents to catalog, 26 years of humiliations to document. They'd created content all right. They just didn't realize they'd also created evidence. The Elaine Barrett I knew would never admit wrongdoing. She'd spent decades perfecting her image as the devoted mother, the community volunteer, the woman who had it all together. Her upcoming bid for the Cedar Creek Church catering contract was her latest project, a chance to expand her side business and cement her status as Boulder Springs' premier event coordinator. Too bad about those health code violations I'd photographed. Too bad about the paper trail Mark had just provided. They wanted me to stay quiet, stay small, stay the family punching bag. But Ava Barrett was done staying anything for anyone. Mark met me at a coffee shop downtown at 7:30 AM on Tuesday, 3 days after the incident. He looked exhausted, sliding a manila folder across the table before I'd even sat down. There's more, he said simply. I've been screenshotting their conversations for months. I couldn't be part of this anymore. Inside the folder, 23 screenshots spanning 6 months. Plans to accidentally exclude me from Dad's birthday dinner. Discussions about cropping me out of family photos. A detailed strategy for the punch incident, including Elaine practicing her stumble in the kitchen. Why, I asked, why are you helping me? Mark stared into his coffee. Because I have a daughter too. And if anyone ever treated Emma the way they treat you. He shook his head. Brielle wasn't always like this. But your mom, she feeds it, encourages it, makes it seem normal. And you're willing to testify to this. If it comes to that, yes. But Ava, there's something else. He pulled out his phone, swiped to a video. Our neighbor, Mrs. Hamilton, has one of those doorbell cameras. The angle catches your parents' backyard. The footage was grainy but clear enough. There was Elaine, an hour before the party, practicing her trip with an empty pitcher. 3 attempts, each more theatrical than the last. Brielle directing her, more to the left. Mom, make sure you get her shoulders. Mrs. Hamilton saved the footage for you. She said she's tired of watching them torment you. I felt something shift inside me, tectonic plates of resignation grinding into determination. I wasn't crazy. I wasn't too sensitive. I had proof. That afternoon, I sat in the office of Nadia Cole, an attorney recommended by my colleague at Harbor Ridge. Her office was modest but meticulous, like her appearance, sharp blazer, minimal jewelry, eyes that missed nothing. This is assault, she said after reviewing everything. Battery, technically, since contact was made. Also, intentional infliction of emotional distress, harassment, and given the social media component, possibly cyberbullying. I don't want to destroy them, I said. I just want them to stop. Nadia leaned back, studying me. Sometimes, Ms. Barrett, the only way to make bullies stop is to show them you have bigger teeth than they thought. What's your goal here? Protection, for me and my daughter. And, I hesitated. I want them exposed. They've hidden behind this perfect family image for so long. I want people to see what they really are. We can do that. Restraining orders for both you and Maya. Cease and desist for the social media harassment. And if they violate either. She smiled, sharp as winter. Well, then we explore criminal charges. That evening, I drove to Willow Creek Elementary to update Maya's emergency contact list. The counselor, Mrs. Foster, listened with growing concern as I explained the situation. "We've noticed Maya's been withdrawn lately," she admitted. "She mentioned something about her grandmother being mean to her mom." "I'm taking legal action," I assured her. "But I need to make sure they can't pick her up, can't access her records, can't done." Mrs. Foster interrupted. "I'll flag her file immediately. Only you or your designated emergency contacts will have access. We take family harassment seriously here." On the drive home, Maya was quiet. Finally, she asked, "Are we not going to see Grandma and Aunt Brielle anymore?" "Not for a while, baby. Is that okay?" "Yes," she said immediately. "They make you sad, and when you're sad, I'm sad." That night, I compiled everything into a comprehensive file. Screenshots printed and dated, video footage backed up in 3 locations, a timeline stretching back 2 decades, each incident documented with as much detail as memory allowed. At 11:45 p.m., my phone rang. "Elaine. Ava, this is ridiculous. Mark says you're involving lawyers over a little spilled punch." "It wasn't little and it wasn't spilled. It was assault." Her laugh was crystalline, sharp enough to cut. "Assault, don't be dramatic. I have the footage of you practicing. Mom. I have the screenshots of you and Brielle planning it. I have 26 years of documented abuse." Silence. "You wouldn't dare," she finally said. "Think about the family reputation." "The family reputation." I almost laughed. "You mean your reputation, and I'm done protecting it. If you do this, you're out. No inheritance, no family gatherings, no promise." I interrupted. "Can I get that in writing?" I hung up on her for the first time in my life. It felt like breaking the surface after drowning, that first gasping breath of freedom. Tomorrow, I'd start planning the presentation, the public reveal, the moment when everyone would see exactly what kind of family the Barretts really were. They wanted viral content. I'd give them a masterpiece. The plan came together like a 3-act play, each piece deliberately crafted for maximum impact. I sat with Nadia in her office at 9 a.m. on Thursday, mapping out the legal framework. "First, we file for emergency protective orders," she said, drafting as she spoke. "Given the evidence of premeditated assault and ongoing harassment, we should get temporary orders within 48 hours. Then we serve them with cease and desist letters regarding the social media content. What about Mark's testimony? Gold. His affidavit will be crucial. A family member confirming the conspiracy carries enormous weight." She pulled up a calendar. "Now, about this public confrontation you're planning." "It's not a confrontation. It's an accountability session." Nadia's smile was sharp. "I like that. Legally speaking, you're hosting a family meeting in a public venue. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with presenting evidence of your experiences. And if that evidence happens to be comprehensive and devastating, well, truth is an absolute defense." I'd already reserved the Maple Grove Civic Hall for Saturday evening. The rental was modest $300 for 3 hours, but the venue was perfect. Central location, excellent acoustics, and a professional projection system. "I want to invite specific people," I said, pulling out my list. "Family, obviously, but also Pastor Reynolds from Cedar Creek Church, Mrs. Hamilton from next door, Maya's school counselor, and Rebecca Santos from the county health department." Rebecca Santos. She's the health inspector who covers my mother's catering district. I have photos from Sunday's party potato salad sitting in 90-degree heat for 4 hours, cream-based desserts without proper refrigeration, cross-contamination between raw and cooked meats. Nadia whistled low. "You're not just burning bridges. You're napalming them." "They lit the match. I'm just returning the favor." That afternoon, I met with my friend Cora, who ran sound for local theater productions. Her apartment was cramped but filled with professional equipment. "I need everything recorded," I explained. "Multiple angles, crystal clear audio, broadcast quality if possible. Planning to upload this somewhere? She asked, examining the Civic Hall's layout I'd brought. Only if they force my hand. This is about accountability, not revenge porn. Cora snorted. After what they did to you, I'd have gone full scorched earth years ago. She pointed to the stage area. I'll set up 3 cameras, one on the podium, one on the audience, one wide shot. Lapel mic for you. Boundary mics for room audio. You'll have every word, every reaction, every guilty flinch in high definition. The invitations went out Friday morning, elegantly printed on cream cardstock. The Barrett family cordially invites you to an evening discussion on family dynamics, child protection, and personal boundaries. Saturday, August 10th, 7 p.m., Maple Grove Civic Hall. Light refreshments will be served. I hand-delivered them to ensure receipt. Elaine answered her door in full makeup at 10 a.m., clearly expecting someone important. What's this? She took the envelope suspiciously. An opportunity, I said, to clear the air, to move forward, to protect Maya from any misunderstandings about family behavior. Her eyes narrowed. If you think, I think you'll want to be there. Unless you'd prefer I handle this through purely legal channels, Nadia Cole is very thorough. The mention of my lawyer made her step back. This is manipulation. No. Mom, manipulation is practicing how to pour punch on your daughter for social media content. This is consequence. Brielle's reaction was predictable. She immediately posted in the Family Sunshine chat, Ava's lost it, sending formal invitations like she's someone important. Can't wait to see this disaster. Definitely bringing my camera. Perfect. Let her document her own downfall. I spent Friday evening at the Civic Hall with Cora, testing equipment and preparing my presentation. 57 slides, each one a carefully documented piece of evidence. Screenshots, photographs, video clips, text messages, 26 years of abuse condensed into 40 minutes of undeniable truth. This is brutal, Cora said, reviewing the presentation. Slide 37, where she admits to ruining your wedding dress. Christ, Ava. Too much. No, not enough. You should add the birthday party footage from Maya's 7th, the one where they forgot to save you seats and you had to stand in the back. Saturday arrived gray and humid, fitting weather for an execution. I dressed carefully professional blazer, modest dress, minimal jewelry, nothing they could mock, nothing they could weaponize. Maya was spending the night with her friend Emma. I'd told her simply that I had a meeting about making sure people treated us better. She'd hugged me tight and whispered, "Be brave, Mommy." At 5:30 p.m., I arrived at the Civic Hall. Cora had worked magic. The space looked professional, almost courtroom-like. Chairs arranged in neat rows, podium commanding the stage, projection screen gleaming white and waiting. Audio's perfect, she confirmed, handing me the lapel mic. You could whisper and they'd hear you in the back row. Also, she grinned. I added a little something. There's a direct feed to the local community access channel, just in case you want to go nuclear. One button, and this streams live. My phone buzzed. Victor, your mother is convinced you're going to humiliate yourself. I tried to tell her to just apologize to you. She won't listen. Be careful, sweetheart. For once, he'd almost stood up for me. Almost. By 6:45 p.m., everything was ready. The evidence loaded, the cameras rolling, the stage set for either reconciliation or devastation. They wanted a show they'd get their finale. The invitation had been crafted to perfection. Neutral language, professional tone, just enough intrigue to guarantee attendance. I knew my mother's mind. She'd convince herself this was my surrender, my public apology for overreacting to her latest cruelty. Saturday morning, the Family Sunshine chat exploded with activity. Elaine at 8:15 a.m. Well, Ava has finally come to her senses. This discussion is obviously her way of apologizing without losing face. We should all attend to support her recovery from this Episode, Brielle at 8:20 a.m. Already planning my outfit. This is going to be content gold. When your sister finally admits she was wrong. Working title, Aunt Patricia at 8:30 a.m. Should we bring anything? Elaine, just your patience. You know how Ava gets emotional. The irony was delicious. They were literally planning their own ambush. Mark called me at noon. They took the bait completely. Brielle's been testing camera angles all morning. She even bought a new tripod. Is she suspicious at all? The opposite. She thinks you're going to break down crying and beg for forgiveness. She's already written her victory caption. And you'll be there. Wouldn't miss it. Ava. I've already consulted my own lawyer. Whatever happens after tonight, I'm with you. Brielle needs to face consequences. And if that means our marriage ends... He paused. Maybe it should have ended years ago. At 3 p.m., Nadia called with an update. The restraining orders are ready. I'll have them in hand tonight. The moment they violate any boundary after being served, it's criminal charges. Also, Rebecca Santos from the health department confirmed she'll attend. She's very interested in those photos you mentioned. And Pastor Reynolds, confirmed, along with 2 church board members. They take their catering contracts seriously, and allegations of food safety violations are concerning to them. The pieces were falling into place like dominoes, each one positioned to knock down the next. At 5 p.m., I stood in my bedroom, looking at myself in the mirror, professional but not severe, confident but not aggressive. I'd learned to camouflage myself over the years, to become whatever wouldn't trigger their cruelty. Tonight, I was done hiding. Maya called from Emma's house at 5:30 p.m. Mom, Emma's mom says you're being brave tonight. I'm trying, baby. You don't need to try. You're already the bravest person I know. You face them every time, even when they're mean. That's brave. How did I get such a smart daughter? You raised me, she said simply. So you must be doing something right. After we hung up, I pulled out the white dress from Sunday cleaned, but still bearing faint pink shadows where the stains had set. I folded it carefully, placed it in a garment bag. Evidence. Symbol. Reminder. Victor called at 6:15 p.m. Ava, I'm begging you, don't do this. Your mother. My mother. What? Dad will be embarrassed, will be exposed. Will finally face consequences for decades of abuse. She's still your mother. No, I said firmly. She's a woman who gave birth to me. Mothers don't systematically destroy their daughters for entertainment. Mothers don't turn pain into content. If you do this, she'll never forgive you. Good. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm demanding respect, and if I can't have that, I'll settle for distance. She's already planning how to spin this. Ava, if you humiliate her, she'll destroy you. Let her try. I have receipts. Dad, 26 years of receipts. He sighed, the sound of a man who'd given up fighting long ago. I'll be there. Someone needs to witness this. Someone needs to pick a side, I corrected. And for once, maybe pick your daughter's... Silence. Then, your mother is convincing. She always has been. But I saw the video Mark sent you. I know what she did was wrong. Then say that tonight, publicly. That's all I'm asking. I'll try. It was more than he'd offered in 33 years. At 6:40 p.m., I did final checks with Cora at the Civic Hall. The presentation was loaded, each slide a carefully placed explosive. The cameras were recording, capturing the empty room that would soon hold my family's reckoning. Stream's ready if you need it, Cora reminded me. One button, and this goes live to about 3,000 local viewers. Nuclear option only, I said, though the temptation was strong. Your mom just pulled up, Cora noted, checking the window. Full makeup, dress suit. She thinks this is her show. In a way, it is, just not the kind she expected. Brielle's SUV pulled in next, tripod already visible in the back. Then came the relatives' aunts, uncles, cousins, all here for the show. Pastor Reynolds arrived with the church board members, their faces curious but concerned. Rebecca Santos from the health department entered, professional tablet in hand. At 6:55 p.m., I took my position behind the podium, pulse steady, hands calm. The lapel mic was live, the cameras rolling, the evidence locked and loaded. "Showtime," Cora whispered from the tech booth. I thought of Maya, safe at her friend's house. I thought of every Christmas ruined, every birthday sabotaged, every moment of joy they'd stolen. Tonight, I was taking it all back. The doors opened, and my family filed in, Elaine leading like a queen approaching her throne, completely unaware she was walking toward her guillotine. The civic hall filled with the rustle of programs and whispered speculation. Elaine commanded the front row, center seat, her posture declaring ownership of this space, this moment. Brielle set up her tripod to the left, adjusting angles with professional precision. The relatives scattered throughout, their faces curious but wary. Pastor Reynolds and the church board took seats near the back, while Rebecca Santos positioned herself along the side wall, tablet ready. At exactly 7 p.m., I stepped to the podium. The room fell silent. "Thank you all for coming," I began, my voice steady through the wireless mic. "Tonight, we're going to discuss boundaries, respect, and the protection of children from toxic family dynamics." Elaine's smile flickered. This wasn't the opening she'd expected. "But first," I continued, clicking the remote, "I'd like to share a story about last Sunday's family gathering." Slide 1 illuminated the screen, the doorbell camera footage, timestamp visible Sunday, 2:13 p.m. There was Elaine in the backyard, empty pitcher in hand, practicing her stumble. Once, twice, 3 times, each performance more refined. Gasps rippled through the room. Brielle's hand froze over her phone. "This is edited." Elaine stood, her voice sharp. This is time-stamped footage from Mrs. Hamilton's security camera." I interrupted calmly. "Completely unedited, but let's continue." Slide 2, the screenshot of Friday's text exchange. Brielle to Elaine. "Mom, we need something big for Sunday's vlog. Engagement is down." Slide 3, Elaine's response. "Leave it to me. Ava's wearing white." The room had gone cemetery quiet. Even the air conditioning seemed to pause. Slide 4, perfect. I'll set up multiple angles. I heard Aunt Patricia's sharp intake of breath. "Elaine, you didn't..." And here, I clicked again. "Is there planning session from Saturday night?" The screenshot filled the screen. Brielle, tested the punch, stains everything, add more berries. Elaine, already done. That dress will be ruined. Stop this immediately. Elaine's composure cracked like ice in warm water. "So this is taken out of context." "What context?" I asked, genuinely curious. "Makes planning to publicly humiliate your daughter acceptable. Please, explain to Pastor Reynolds, explain to the health department, explain to everyone here what context justifies this." Pastor Reynolds stood slowly. "Mrs. Barrett, is this authentic?" Before Elaine could respond, Mark stood up from his seat in the back. "It's real. I took those screenshots. I've watched them plan these attacks for years. I have more if you need them." Brielle spun toward her husband. "Mark, what are you doing?" "The right thing. Finally." I clicked to the next slide. A compilation video. 26 years compressed into 3 minutes. The graduation dress, accident. The wedding photo, miscommunication. Birthday after birthday of calculated cruelty. Each incident transitioning to the next with timestamp proof. Every accident, I narrated, documented. Every miscommunication, preserved. Every moment you thought was too small to matter, remembered. Slide 30 showed the family sunshine chat. Message after message of mockery. Each one screenshotted and timestamped. Elaine calling me pathetic for working a normal job. Brielle suggesting I was too damaged to date after my divorce. The relatives who'd laughed along, their names clearly visible. Uncle Ted shifted uncomfortably. Cousin Patricia covered her mouth. "But this Sunday was different," I continued, voice gaining strength. "This time, you did it in front of my daughter. This time, you recorded it for content. This time, you crossed a line that can't be uncrossed." I clicked to the video from Sunday. The punch bowl falling. My humiliation in high definition. But more importantly, Maya's face in the corner of the frame, eyes wide with horror as she watched her grandmother deliberately hurt her mother. "That," I pointed to my daughter's expression, "is why we're here. That is the cycle I'm ending tonight." Rebecca Santos stepped forward. "Ms. Barrett, may I?" I nodded, and she addressed the room. "The photos from Sunday's gathering show multiple severe health code violations: food temperature abuse, cross-contamination, improper storage. Any catering business associated with these practices would face immediate suspension," Pastor Reynolds added. "The church board will need to review our upcoming contracts. We can't risk our congregation's health or associate with this kind of behavior." Elaine's face had gone from red to white to an alarming shade of gray. "You planned this. You set me up." "No, Mom. You planned this." I pulled out the garment bag, removed the stained dress, and laid it across the podium. "You planned every detail. I just kept the receipts." Brielle finally found her voice. "This is illegal. You can't record private conversations." "Actually," Nadia Cole entered from the side door, perfectly timed. "Colorado is a one-party consent state. Mark was party to these conversations and consented to recording them. Everything here is admissible." "Who the hell are you?" Elaine snarled. "Nadia Cole, attorney at law. I'm here to serve you both with emergency protective orders." She handed legal documents to Elaine and Brielle. "You are prohibited from contacting Ms. Ava Barrett or her minor daughter Maya. You are prohibited from posting any content featuring them. You are prohibited from coming within 100 yards of their home, workplace, or school." The room erupted, relatives talking over each other, Brielle shrieking about her content, Elaine standing frozen with the papers in her hand. I raised my voice above the chaos. "There's more." Silence fell like a hammer. The final slide filled the screen, a montage of every cruel message, every planned humiliation, every moment of deliberate pain, set to audio of Brielle's laugh from Sunday. "She's a mess." "This is who you are," I said, looking directly at my mother and sister. "This is what you've always been, and now everyone knows it." Nadia stepped forward with the precision of a chess master delivering checkmate. Her heels clicked against the floor as she positioned herself between me and my family, a legal shield in a navy suit. "Mrs. Barrett, Ms. Barrett." She addressed Elaine and Brielle formally. "You've been served with emergency protective orders. Any violation will result in immediate arrest. Additionally," she pulled out another set of documents. "These are cease and desist orders regarding the social media content featuring my client. You have 24 hours to remove all posts, videos, and references to Ms. Ava Barrett and her daughter." "You can't do this," Brielle's voice cracked. "That's my content, my followers. Your followers can watch you commit assault and conspiracy to harass." Nadia's tone was surgical. "I'm sure that will play well with brand sponsors. Speaking of which, copies of tonight's evidence will be provided to any company currently partnering with your channel. Should you refuse to comply?" Pastor Reynolds stood, his voice carrying pastoral authority mixed with barely concealed disgust. "Mrs. Barrett, the Cedar Creek Church Board needs to inform you that your catering bid is formally withdrawn, effective immediately." "You can't, this is discrimination." Elaine sputtered. "This is protecting our congregation." Board member Mrs. Hutchinson interjected. "We've seen evidence of serious food safety violations and, frankly, moral failings that make you unsuitable for our community partnerships." Rebecca Santos added the next blow. "The health department will be conducting an emergency inspection of your home kitchen and any facilities you use for food preparation at 8 a.m. Monday morning, based on the photographic evidence from Sunday." You should expect citations. The room watched Elaine's empire crumble in real time. Her catering business, her church standing, her carefully maintained reputation, all of it falling like the punch bowl she'd so carefully aimed. Furthermore, Nadia continued, pulling out her phone, I've just filed the official complaint with the district attorney's office. Battery, conspiracy to commit battery, harassment, and child endangerment given that this was done in front of a minor child. Child endangerment. Victor finally spoke, his voice weak. That seems excessive. Your granddaughter watched her grandmother physically assault her mother. Nadia cut him off. She's been in counseling since. That's psychological harm to a minor. That's endangerment. Mark stood again, his voice steady. I'll testify. To all of it. Years of planning these accidents. The group chats dedicated to humiliating Ava. The way they'd laugh about it afterward. He looked directly at Brielle. I have recordings of you practicing your shocked face for the punch incident. You knew. You planned it. You celebrated it. Brielle's tripod crashed to the floor as she stumbled backward. Mark, you're my husband. You're supposed to support you, like you supported your sister, like you supported your niece when she had to watch her mother be attacked for your entertainment. His voice broke. I'm done. Brielle, my lawyer will contact you Monday. The congregation of relatives had become a jury, and their verdict was visible in every averted gaze, every step back from Elaine and Brielle, every whispered condemnation. Aunt Patricia spoke up. I saved the messages too, the ones where you called Ava pathetic, where you planned to ruin her interview outfit so she couldn't get that promotion. I kept thinking someone would stop you. I should have spoken up sooner. Uncle Ted added, We all should have. We watched this abuse for years and said nothing because it was easier. We're complicit. Elaine's mask finally shattered completely. Abuse. I'm her mother. Everything I did was to make her stronger, better. Everything you did, I interrupted, my voice cutting through her denial, was to make yourself feel powerful. You needed someone to hurt, and I was convenient. Born first, born imperfect, born as your permanent punching bag. I pulled out a final folder, thick with papers. This is every incident I remember, every accident, every joke, every moment of cruelty. 137 documented instances over 26 years. My therapist helped me compile them. She called it systematic psychological torture. Your therapist is obviously, Elaine started, Dr. Patricia Reeves, licensed psychologist with 30 years of experience in family trauma. I stated, she's prepared to testify as an expert witness if this goes to trial. She's diagnosed me with complex PTSD from childhood abuse. Would you like to see her assessment? The silence stretched like a taut wire. The criminal hearing is set for Thursday at 9 a.m., Nadia announced. If you're considering fighting these orders or continuing any form of contact or harassment, I'd advise against it. The evidence is overwhelming, witnessed, and now publicly documented. She turned to the room. Everyone here is now a potential witness. You've seen the evidence. You've heard the testimony. Any of you who enable further harassment of my client will be named as co-conspirators in any civil suit we file. The threat landed like a judge's gavel. Several relatives immediately pulled out their phones, likely removing themselves from the family sunshine chat. One more thing, I said, standing straighter. Mom, that inheritance you threatened to withhold Dad already put my portion in a trust when I turned 18. You can't touch it. You never had that power. You just made me believe you did. Victor nodded slowly. It's true. Your grandmother insisted on it before she died. She saw what was happening. She protected you the only way she could. Elaine turned on him. You knew you let me believe. You let yourself believe a lot of things. Elaine, that this was normal, that it was acceptable, that there wouldn't be consequences. He stood, age showing in his movements but determination in his voice. I'm moving to the guest room tonight. My lawyer will contact you next week. The Barrett family was imploding in real time, decades of dysfunction finally reaching critical mass. The room held its breath as Elaine scrambled for her last weapon victimhood. Her face crumpled into practiced tears, the performance she'd perfected over decades. "After everything I've done for you," she whispered, voice trembling. "I fed you, clothed you, gave you a home. You gave me trauma," I said simply. "You fed me criticism, clothed me in shame, and made that home a battlefield where I was always the enemy." I stepped down from the podium carrying the stained dress, each step deliberate, measured, final. I laid it across the table in front of her, the pink stains still visible despite cleaning permanent marks, like the scars she'd left on my psyche. "This dress is yours now, a reminder of the last time you'll ever hurt me." Brielle made one final attempt. "You're destroying this family. You're traumatizing everyone with this public spectacle." "No." Maya's school counselor, Mrs. Foster, spoke from the back. "What's traumatizing is a 9-year-old girl drawing pictures of her mother crying and asking if it's her fault that Grandma is mean. That's trauma. This is justice." Mark walked over to me, his voice low but clear. The video from Sunday Brielle had already uploaded it to her cloud before editing. The full footage shows her directing the whole thing like a film shoot. I have copies of everything her planning documents, her content calendar marking Ava humiliation as a recurring segment, even her drafted monetization strategy for the Messy Sister series she was planning. He handed me a USB drive, then turned to Brielle. "Our daughter Emma won't grow up thinking this is normal. I'm filing for full custody." The dam broke. Relatives started speaking over each other, years of suppressed observations flooding out. Cousin Patricia admitted to documenting incidents since 2015. Uncle Ted revealed he'd stopped bringing his children to gatherings because of the toxic dynamics. Even quiet Aunt Ruth stood to say she'd been afraid to speak up, terrified of becoming the next target. Victor walked to where I stood, and for the first time in my life, he hugged me properly, not the sidearm pat he usually offered, but a real embrace. "I failed you," he said loud enough for everyone to hear. "I chose peace over protection. I chose silence over my daughter. That ends now." Elaine's scream cut through everything. "You're all traitors, every one of you. I made this family what it is." "Yes," I agreed. "You did. You made it toxic. You made it cruel. You made it a place where love was conditional and pain was entertainment." I pulled out one final item, a printed email from Dr. Reeves. "My therapist wanted me to read this tonight. It's about breaking generational trauma. It says, 'The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth.' Well, I'm not burning anything down. I'm just turning on the light so everyone can see what's been hiding in the darkness." Rebecca Santos closed her tablet with a snap. "Mrs. Barrett, expect our inspection team Monday morning. I'd suggest having your permits and temperature logs ready, though based on what I've seen, you might want to contact a lawyer who specializes in health code violations." Pastor Reynolds and the church board filed out quietly, but not before Mrs. Hutchinson stopped beside me. "We'll be praying for you and Maya. Real prayers, not the kind your mother posts on Facebook for show." The exodus began. Relatives approached me with quick hugs, whispered apologies, promises to do better. Each one carefully avoided Elaine and Brielle, who stood isolated in the center of the room like islands of rage in an empty sea. "This isn't over," Elaine hissed. "I'll fight this. I'll tell everyone you're unstable, vindictive." "Go ahead," Nadia interrupted. "Every threat you make is being recorded. Every action you take against my client adds to our civil suit. Currently, we're calculating damages at approximately $200,000 for therapy costs, lost wages from stress-related sick days, and emotional distress. Would you like to make it $300,000? Elaine's mouth snapped shut. I looked around the room one last time at the ruins of my mother's empire, at my sister's shattered influencer dreams, at the family members finally seeing truth. "From this moment forward," I announced, "all contact with me and Maya goes through my attorney. Any approach, Any message, any attempt to circumvent these protective orders will result in immediate legal action. I paused at the door, Maya's words echoing in my mind about bravery. I spent 33 years believing I was the problem, that I was too sensitive, too difficult, too imperfect. But the only thing I was guilty of was hoping you could love me. That hope died Sunday when you looked at my daughter's frightened face and laughed. I turned to face them one final time. Elaine, Brielle, you taught me something valuable. You taught me that family isn't about blood. It's about respect, kindness, and genuine love. Maya and I are going to build our own family now, with people who understand that. This is goodbye. I walked out of the Maple Grove Civic Hall at 8:47 p.m., leaving behind 26 years of abuse, 2 toxic relationships, and 1 stained white dress. In the parking lot, Cora was loading equipment into her van. "That was fucking beautiful," she said. "You didn't burn the bridge, you demolished it with architectural precision. Did you get everything? Every word, every expression, every guilty flinch in crystal clear HD?" She grinned. "That live stream button was tempting, though. Evidence only," I reminded her. "Unless they violate the order. Then we go nuclear." She hugged me. "Proud of you." As I drove home, my phone stayed silent. No family sunshine notifications. No passive-aggressive messages. No manufactured emergencies demanding my attention. Just peace. Maya would come home tomorrow to a house free of Sunday dread. No more strategic illness before family gatherings. No more watching her mother return diminished and defeated. No more learning that love meant accepting abuse. The cycle was broken. The Barretts who believed in punishment disguised as love, cruelty marketed as content, and humiliation branded as humor, they were gone from our lives. We were free. Thank you so much for listening to this story. I'd love to know where you're tuning in from. Please drop a comment below and let's connect. If this story resonated with you, please consider subscribing to the channel and sharing your thoughts. Your experiences and perspectives make this community special. Until next time, remember choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary.